In Illustrator, why should you even care about live paint? Or why should you care about appearances? Let's take a look at this artwork here. I want to create this kind of logo. And we're going to start with this artwork here. So that is just an open path and it has a thick stroke. In this version, you can easily change it. If you move that around, you can easily change all of it. But we want to create this one here. Now we're going to start with the straightforward method. Straightforward would be that we outline the stroke here. And now this looks like this. And then let's apply a color. And let's make a copy by Alt dragging it and then change the color slightly. And now we have to really apply Pathfinder methods. Now, if you are in RGB document color mode, you could try and use blend modes for this, but we are in CMYK and that just doesn't work. We're going to select both of them and then use the Pathfinder panel. So with the Pathfinder panel, we can just hit divide. Now, divide is the one that just cuts this. It's now a group, but if we ungroup that, then you see we have all the single paths and we can now select that one in the middle and then go here and make it lighter again. And then we have this version, but still it's not finished because we need to select that once again and then copy it, edit copy, and then paste in front and unite them all. And then let's just switch fill and stroke and apply a black stroke to that and make it a little thicker. So now we have that version. That is pretty straightforward. We just had to do that. But the trouble now is if you need to change anything to that, because we have all those single parts of it, and changing anything in there, changing the stroke thickness or how these are aligned to each other is impossible. You would have to start from scratch for that. Let's take a look at what we can improve. I'm going to start with that once again. And if you want to improve that slightly, you can just again outline the stroke and then apply that fill and make the duplicate and apply the slightly lighter fill. And now we can select both of them and then go to the Live Paint bucket tool, which is just below the Shape Builder tool. And then click in here. And I'm going to select this one here and click in there once again. So now we have applied that color. So what's the difference here? With this one here, what we can do is take the direct selection tool and then move this around. So we have at least the flexibility of moving those two around and changing the arrangement. Still, it's not simple to change the thickness of those strokes. That doesn't work. Now, you might ask, well, how do I get that black stroke around it? And that can be solved by using the Appearance panel. We have now that Live Paint group and can add a stroke to that, make that slightly thicker, and move it below the contents. So now we have that stroke around here, and if we change the alignment of these, then that stroke adjusts to that. So that's the next method, and it's slightly better. At least we can change the arrangement. But what can we do if we want to change really everything in here? And that's where the Appearance panel can come in. What we can do here is, let's start with that stroke once again, but this time we will not apply the outline stroke from here, but we're going to use an effect. So let's go to Effect, Path, Outline Stroke. And you see it's not really outlined. There is still just that path. And now we need to create all those shapes on top. And what we can do is, let's make a copy here and let's apply that lighter color to that. But now we need to move that, and we can use an effect, distort and transform, and then let's move that. I'm going to use the arrow keys, move it to the left and then move it up, and we're going to make a copy. So this is now there, but we only need to have this darker one. So what we need to do now is apply the Pathfinder as an effect subtract. It's wrongly applied, so let's put it down here, and you see we've got this one. Okay, this worked. So let's make another copy of that, apply the lighter color, and then let's click on the subtract effect and use intersect instead. So now we've got that shape. And again, we want to have that black outline around it. So in order to get that, we cannot apply that directly in here. What we have to do instead is making a group. So I'm going to Object Group. And the same trick as with this one up here. Here it's a live paint group. Here is just a group. Set a new stroke and then drag that stroke below everything and make it thicker. So now we've got all of that, but what can we do with that now? The nice thing is we've got just this one path, and if we now decide that the shadow doesn't work very well, we can move everything around just like this. We can also make them thinner. So I want to have thinner strokes, and we can do that. Just make them thinner, make them all the same thickness. And then we have that. We can also, of course, adjust them. So I'm going to double click this, and we can go into the transform effect and change these numbers to move these around. So that's possible as well. You see, if you move that like this, -13, then of course we have to do that here as well. So let's have -13 here, and you can change everything in this construction. So there are 3 ways to build this, which give you a different degree of editability to this Illustrator artwork.